we're going to do some lower body stretches that follow on from the foam rolling that I've also put up for the lower body. So to do the stretches, you'll either need a band or you can use a belt, a yoga strap, something like that, to be able to fully support your leg when you're stretching it. And you'll need a cushion or a pillow for your knee when we're doing a hip flexor stretch. So the first stretch that I always start with is a hamstring stretch. So it's a three-way hamstring stretch so that you're getting all parts of your hamstring when you're stretching. I'll just do the one leg, but you'll repeat the same thing on the other side. So the general rule of thumb with stretching is only go to the first point of resistance. Don't continue to pull your muscle beyond that. Keep the muscle as relaxed as possible so that you're not creating a tension that you're then pulling against and then potentially causing damage in the muscle. And for these stretches that we're going to do today, although there are a range of different ways to stretch, we're going to be holding them for 30 seconds each or thereabouts. You can absolutely hold for longer. Again, it depends upon how much time you've got more than anything. But you really wouldn't want to stretch for any less than 30 seconds if you're doing the holds that we're doing today, as opposed to some of the other methods that you can use for stretching. So, lying down on the floor, grab the belt in the instep and winch the leg up. Find that first point of resistance and hold for 30 seconds. So this one we're stretching straight down the middle of the hamstring. The next one, tilt the foot inwards, so I'm tilting it medially towards the middle part of my body, and then without raising this hip off the ground, take the leg across the body so you can feel the stretch down the outside part of the leg. So it's stretching here from my hip down the back towards the knee, and then sometimes it'll go down as far as the ankle, depending upon how tight your hamstrings and your legs are. The next one is a little bit difficult to get into, but it's good for, and I'll turn around here, good for the adductors. Now I bend down my leg, take it to the outside, and then I extend to get the stretch into the adductor. So I don't ever drop my leg down, because in doing that I'm going to engage the muscle to protect it. And I don't want to do that. I want to keep it as relaxed as possible. Then when I'm coming out of the stretch, I again bend the leg up to bring it back to the midline. And they're the three-way hamstrings, and I'll do both legs. The next one is a glute stretch. So I'm just trying to find the best angle for this. I'll do it this way first. So swish both legs to one side, then take this outside leg and step across the body. And then relax down the back of the leg. And I'm getting a stretch into this hip here. So I'll do it the other way around so that you can see the back. Swish both legs to the side, step the outside leg across and back, and relax and sit into it so you're stretching that leg. And again, changing the angles. You've got quite a lot of muscle in the hip area. Different muscles have different angles, so you might want to drop down or move around. But again, hold those stretches for that 30 seconds, and you can, like I said, go up to about 2 minutes if you like. And I'll do both of those glutes, one and then the other. The next one, you'll need your cushion for, and I'll go sideways for this one to begin with. Stabilizing knee on the cushion, the other leg up, and we want a lovely 90 degree. Hands on your hips to help you keep both of those hips even, and we're tucking the tail under to get a stretch in this hip flexor. Hold that stretch for somewhere between 3 and 5 seconds, and then release it, and then repeat. So tuck it under, feel that stretch in the front part of the hip flexor, and then release, and repeat that 3 to 5 times. So 3 to 5 seconds, 3 to 5 times. Then, and I'll take this back a little bit further, extend this leg out, and we're going for a slight hamstring stretch. Again, you come down as far as you can, but it's about bringing the belly button towards the leg as opposed to the head, because we're not wanting to stretch the back, we're wanting to stretch the hamstring. So when you're stretching your hamstring, belly button comes towards the leg, and then that becomes your point of anchor to come forward into your big hip flexor. Make sure your knee here is over your ankle, so it isn't behind your ankle and isn't in front of your ankle. A nice, lovely line, 90 degrees. And for this one, we're going for a deeper stretch. I'm just going to change legs so you can see what it looks like the other way around. So I've got my 90 degrees set up, and I've got my long lunge down in my hip flexor. I can either reach up and get a stretch up through the front of the tummy, or I can twist and really drop down into that hip and get the stretch down through the hip there. So that's the hips. Now the best quad stretch I find is on the belly, and it prevents your knee coming forward of your other leg. So grab an ankle, roll it round onto your belly, and then bring the heel into your butt. Now making sure your knees are as close together as possible, and we're holding for, again, 30 seconds to 2 minutes, depending upon how you're feeling. Now this one's better than coming up on the side, because what you'll tend to find, what most people tend to find, is that they'll start bending in at the hips. So you're immediately shortening the angle of your hip, which then reduces the stretch in the quad. So we've done hamstrings, glutes, hip flexors, quads. The last one is calves. Calves you can either do on the ground or on the floor, on the wall, sorry. So we want high up in the calves and then low down. So I'm getting, the other way around. Low down here, so it's really close to my ankle. Then when I straighten my leg, the stretch comes up behind the knee a little bit further. Much easier also if you're leaning against a wall, and you can get those deeper stretches. Don't forget to do your feet. So with no shoes on, rolling up onto your toes. They're the forgotten muscle, I think, often. So coming up, stretching those feet, and then back down again, and that gets a little bit of a Achilles heel, Achilles stretch as well. Up onto the toes and back down. So you can do those stretches anytime, but definitely follow the foam rolling with some deep stretching. So if you're doing glutes, foam rolling the glutes, then follow with stretch on the glutes. If you're doing the quads, then the quad stretch and hip flexor stretch and so forth. So you can couple those up.